Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's quickly talk about the voluntary fasting. So the voluntary fasting. So let's quickly talk about it in few minutes. So 6 days in Shawwal, the voluntary fasting. These are types of voluntary fasting that you have on your screen. 6 days in Shawwal, that is the month after Ramadan. So the Prophet ﷺ said, anybody that fasts Ramadan, and fast 6 days after, is as if he has fasted for the whole year. So that is that is a lot of reward. So fasting on the day of Arafah, So that is the ninth day of Zulhijjah. So fasting on the ninth day of Zulhijjah. So that is the day of Arafah. Is also highly encouraged. So it's one of the voluntary fasting. And what we mean by voluntary fasting is that if a person does it, he earns a lot of reward, and if he doesn't do it, there's no sin upon him. So like on the day of Arafah now, the Prophet ﷺ said anybody that fasts on the day of Arafah will have his sins the previous year and the following year, wiped. You have his sins the previous year and the following year wiped, especially the minor ones, the minor sins. So this is one of the benefits of fasting on the day of Arafah. So and fasting 10th of Muharram, 10th of Muharram. So preferable to add a day before it or after it. So Muharram is the first day on the Islamic calendar. So for those that don't know, so Mondays and Thursday, fasting on Mondays and Thursday. So it's also it's also a part of the voluntary fasting. Fasting 3 days every month. Fasting 3 days every month. So preferably 13th, 14th, and 15th of every month. This the Islamic calendar. So fasting these days is also part of the voluntary fasting. Then fasting every other day. That is one day fasting a day, then resting the following day, then fast after that, and and goes on like that. That is fasting every 2 days. So and also the month of Muharram, to fast in the month of Muharram generally, that not the whole thing, but to increase the rate of fasting in the month of Muharram is also encouraged. Then first 9 days of Zulhijjah, to try to fast in the first 9 days of Zulhijjah is also highly encouraged. So disliked and forbidden days. And before I continue this, in the previous slide we mentioned so many months. So for those of us that don't know the months, we should try to check it up in the Islamic calendar and see what months they actually fall in. So I mentioned like Muharram, the first month, Zulhijjah, the last month. So and there are so many. You should try to be familiar with the month. So disliked and forbidden days of fasting, that is disliked makruh, that is the days that are disliked for fasting. That is, if a person fasts on those days, it does not become a sinner, but it is preferable to abandon it. So what are these days? First is specifically fasting during Rajab. To specifically choose Rajab as a month of fasting, is disliked, and also fasting on Friday only. So, like I said, Rajab again is one of the months in the Islamic calendar. So, fasting on Friday only, that is without fasting a day before it or after it, is disliked. So, it's good to fast Friday and the day after it, or Friday and the day before it. So, and also fasting on Saturday only is the same, takes the same ruling. Then also fasting on days of Tashriq, fasting on days of Tashriq. So what do you mean by days of Tashriq? So after the bigger Eid, that is Eid al-Adha, the one where we slaughter ram, Salah. So after that Salah, the 3 days after it, 3 days after it is referred to as the days of Tashriq. So fasting on those days, fasting on day of Eid is forbidden. So those 3 days after it, it is disliked to fast on those days, because it is as if the Eid continues. You understand? So those days are a person can decide to in fact the Eid continues, because a person continues to eat his meat, and continues to enjoy himself during those days. So okay, that is 11th, 12th, 13th of Zulhijjah. So the last month of the year. So forbidden days of fasting. What are forbidden days of fasting? The days of doubt. What do you mean by the day of doubt? That is the 30th of Shaban. The Shaban is the month before Ramadan. So 30th of Shaban, when moon was not sighted on 29th. So by 29th, if the moon was not sighted due to lack of clarity of the clouds, lack of clarity of the clouds, so the following day, which the moon was not sighted, it is forbidden to fast on that day, because it's a day of doubt, because the clouds were not clear. So a person does not know if the moon was if the moon actually appeared or not. So, but it was not sighted, and we don't fast on that day. So it's forbidden to fast on that day. So, and also the day of Eid, like I said, the days of Eid, not just the bigger Eid, both Eid, the one after Ramadan and the bigger Eid, the Salah. So it is forbidden to fast on those days. So this is where we stop in this video. So later we'll continue with some other things.